The Aries full moon is happening on October 17th, 2024. In this video, I'm going to be going over what you need to know about this Aries full moon, how it will affect you 3 days before, the day of, and 3 days after, plant medicines that can support you and your healing, as well as a beautiful Aries full moon ritual that you can support you on working with the energies of Grandmother Moon. If this is our first time meeting, hi, I'm Shika. I'm a medicine woman, and I talk about all things plant medicine, community, healing, and supporting those, expanding their divinity and stepping into their truest purpose within themselves while feeling supported on their spiritual awakening. I'm really excited for this beautiful video and channel message for you before we get into the magic of this amazing space that we're going to be sharing together. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, like, subscribe, put notification bells so you do not miss a video, share with friends and family, and also if this is your first time here, put a rainbow emoji and introduce yourself. It's one of my favorite things, getting to read your comments, connecting with you all, and just learning more about your spiritual journey, learning about your sign, what's your sun, your moon, your rising, if you know. And really just connecting. And also I love to see all of you connect in the comments down below. So make sure that you do so and connect and share what's coming up for you. I also want to share a couple things with you, some very powerful things that will help you during this full moon. In the season of this Aries full moon, I am feeling so deeply called to offer something deeply. And I am calling all the sisters, I'm calling all the women, I'm calling all the grandmothers of the community here to come and join me for a 3-day free workshop called Breaking Through the Thorns. If you don't know, go check out my last video that talks about it. It's called Breaking Through the Thorns. And really, this is a space where we're going to take 3 days in ceremony through this workshop together, clearing ancestral karma, clearing our wombs, clearing our sacral, and really understanding, what is the reason that we feel lonely on our spiritual journey, clearing that and feeling supported. Also, the frustrations that you experience as a woman on your spiritual journey. If you're feeling blocked, if you're feeling unsupported, if you feel alone, then this is going to be such a powerful workshop for you. And make sure you share it with any other important women in your life. You can go and register down below. The last thing I'm going to share, my one-on-ones are open, limited spots are available, as well as retreats are coming up. October 15th is the last day to sign up for the November Aya retreat that's happening November 20th to the 23rd in Costa Rica with Colleen Ariel. If you're interested in applying, go and check the application down below. And there are 2 spots right now as I speak. And I'm not sure if they're filled. Check the community if it is and add yourself to the email list. But if they're not, I want to invite you to the Costa Rica retreat that is happening in February next year, the 1st to the 11th at Heaven and Earth Sanctuary, where we sit with Aya, Bobinsana, Kambo, and so many other medicines and plants over these 10 days. We're really bringing you into your hearts, into your divinity. We also have another retreat that's happening in April, and this retreat is going to be happening in Peru. So all these information is down below. I want to go into the Aries full moon, but I wanted to share these exciting things that are happening in community. And again, if you know anyone that feels called to go deeper in their spiritual journey, the plants and community, you can go and check out all the things on the website, 𝐷𝐸𝐵𝐷𝐸.com. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, Aries, any Aries in the space, any fire signs in the space, that fiery energy, full moons. Now, I just want to first say, as we're in the space, full moons are all about releasing, letting go. It's about clearing. It's about bringing what's in the darkness into the light. We can see the full moon. It's bright. It's coming into the space. Hopefully it's not cloudy where you are, so you can see this full moon and its power and its glory and the grandmother moon. And with that, we're going to go into how it will affect all of us. Okay. So as I sit here, I always like to share with you, we're in ceremony in this phase. Things might come up, you may feel things coming through, and just allow it, right? We're sitting here and just recognize how this moon is coming here to support you. So the first thing is forcing to really just fall into the arms of the universe and to trust the process. The last few months have been about shedding, about endings, about grieving, about releasing. If you haven't checked out the Libra eclipse, I almost said lunar, solar eclipse video, go check it out because it's a great add-on to what you're expecting. Maybe I'll link it here for you so you can go check it out. This is such a potent space where we just spent some deep cleaning, right? And we're in the halfway mark between now and November 20th. Now, why this day is so important, I talk about this in the Libra solar eclipse video energy update, but I will share a little brief in relation to this Aries full moon that's happening October 17th, 2024. 3 days before the day of and 3 days after. You are just getting a little check-in of where you need to trust what is being purged out of your life in order for you to step into your divinity. One of the biggest energies that is going on right now is revolving around home. And Aries is really telling us that, you know, there might be a lot of things that seem like, okay, I feel like I'm on the right path. What is going on? I'm not seeing the results. I'm not seeing it the way it's supposed to. You're really being tested in your patience, right? And to ask yourself, you know, what would it look like to be fully trusted in the universe? If money wasn't a thing, if, you know, your worries wasn't a thing, if whatever your fears are of the outcome wasn't a thing, what would it be? How would you trust? How would you show up? How would you be with the universe, right? Because when we are in those spaces of fears are essentially areas where we have a gift in that space, right? Fears can also equal lies. Let that sink in. So this full moon is about clearing the lies of what we think we trust and what we don't trust. It's about understanding, you know, our revelations, our awakenings this whole season, equinox, eclipse season. We're integrating some deep things. So this full moon in Aries is really just letting go of the final countdown. The final countdown. Do you know that song? If you know that song, put a fire emoji. That just came through. I barely listened to that song, but I'm just seeing you run through this almost like, you know, when the sports footballers, they show them on the TV. I don't even watch sports, but they're like running and they're going on the big match. They're coming onto the stage, like, you know that energy I'm telling you about. You're like running and you're getting ready for the playoffs. This is what's going on. Okay, this is the energy. This makes so much sense. So the Aries full moon that's happening on October 17th, 2024, 3 days before the day of and 3 days after, you're being asked to trust the game that you signed up to play. You're being trust in the arms of the universe that they have a process, that you are part of the process, and now it's time to play in this new energy. It's not time to hibernate. It's not time to hide. You know, we had that time equinox. We had that time this Libra new moon. You made your intentions. You made your value. You did a tap in of what you wanted to call in. Now it's like we got to just show up and trust. And, you know, one of the things I always tell people, especially when they, you know, apply to work with me and, you know, they're doing my programs and whatnot, I always tell them, I'm like, okay, trusting is like, I just trust, I just pray. But then we get detached to the whole other part of our human and grounding of like, you got to act on that trust, right? You got to show up in the world as you would trust. You're not waiting for the angel numbers, 222, 111, all the things, just in the waiting room. Put yourself out of the waiting room of trusting and know that trust is happening right now. Okay, I know that was some deep things, but Spirit's just like, just tell them. So let me know if that triggered, if that brought something up for you, what's coming up. Please share it as we're going through the video, because this is just gonna help you in your process. The second thing you need to know about this Aries full moon that's happening October 17, 2024, how it will affect you 3 days before the day of and 3 days after. Letting go of self-sabotaging tendencies. Man, does this tendency tend to come again and again? Like I said, healing's not a state. It's a relation to our habits, our patterns, and understanding how we can deepen them deeper. And this is one of the reasons why I always tell people sacral chakra healing is where you heal it all. If we were not birthed in a womb, if we weren't birthed and connected with the earth, nature, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be having a human experience. And again, if you are, you know, the feminine, the women in this space, if you are in the process of healing the sacral, come to Breaking Through the Thorns 3-day workshop. It's going to shift your whole life. You're going to be a completely different person after the 3 days. It's going to be, we're going to move that. We're going to move those self-sabotaging tendencies. Now, when we tune into self-sabotaging, right? What does that mean? What does it mean to self-sabotage? It means to understand the capability that you have, but to question it and to have this kind of like, two parts of you, right? So there's the part of you that knows deep in your knowing. And I say this with everyone, especially when they're doing healing and work. I say, you are connecting to your knowing. Now that lives in your life force energy. That lives in your sacral, which is where your belly button is, okay? In that region. It is why we're here. It is life energy. So with this fiery energy coming here, what is being asked of us is, how are we self-sabotaging our inner fire? How are we self-sabotaging our spirit's plan? Right? And we're being asked to let that go during this Aries full moon. We're being asked to shed that because we're on the game, right? We're not going to question why our guys are telling us to go on the field and play. Show up, play, be there, you know? And yes, there might be times where you might get, you know, a flag for a penalty. I don't even watch sports, but I'm just like hearing from all the masculine and the men that talk about sports in my life. But, you know, they might have a penalty, you know, or for example, perfect example, right? For all of the feminine out here, right? When someone gives you a gift, what do you feel? Do you reject it? Say, no, it's fine. No, it's fine. Or do you accept it, right? The Aries full moon is telling you, you know, where are you self-sabotaging your receiving, right? Receiving that you are here to play. Spirit doesn't give you a game. The spirit doesn't give you certain things, whether it's shadow work, healing, opportunities, closing of doors, opening of doors, whatever it is, emotions. They don't give it to you just because of, oh, I just want to see you suffer. No, they give it to you because, one, we have a full energetic responsibility that we create our reality. You created your reality. Can you accept that right now? Aries full moon's like, if there's any part of you that's not accepting this, right? This trust that we've created that, and that is part of our plan. And then the second thing is, what part of us is creating resistance against that plan? You're standing on the sidelines, talking to the coach, talking to your guide, saying, hey, don't put me in, but put me in. Don't put me in, but put me in. You know, there's a whole conversation I'm having with the guides, but all this is Aries full moon, stop self-sabotaging. Stop questioning your gifts. Stop questioning why you're here. Stop finding and trying to discover what that is. Guess what? Life is the ceremony. I'm going to say this as many times as I can in every single video. Life is the ceremony. When you start to receive that spirituality is life, is breathing, is being here, is watching this, is us connecting right here in this ceremony together, is you being with your kids. It's you being able to hang out with your friends. It's you being able to talk to the person at the grocery store. It's you being able to go to yoga class. It's whatever it is for you. It is connection. And when we self-sabotage, we are self-sabotaging that connection, that belonging to our path, to where we're meant, to our community, to our soul tribe. I'm so passionate about this, but I'm sure you can feel this. So I really want you to, like, Shika, okay, so how do I get there? Start bringing yourself to this space with this Aries full moon that's happening on October 17th, 2024, 3 days before the day of 3 days after, and beyond. If this is something hitting, self-sabotaging is knowing that you're worthy, is knowing that you're significant, is knowing that you are loved, is knowing that you will not be abandoned, is knowing that you have a place in this world. As human beings, as animals, as energies, we have a belonging, right? Whether you are an energy of light or an energy of lower frequency, there is a belonging somewhere. There is an attachment of something. There is a connection of something, right? And this full moon is saying that if there's something that is not allowing you to connect to your divine path of your soul's purpose, fire is your spirit. Fire, the energy of fire means spirit, of your spirit's purpose. Let it go. Give it to the fire during this full moon in Aries. Allow that to not be a burden you have to hold for you and your generations before and after. Again, this is an opportunity for you to free yourself. And again, if this point is hitting, please go sign up for Breaking Through the Thorns. It's going to help you. It's going to support you. Third thing that you need to know about this Aries full moon that is happening October 17th, 2024, 3 days before the day of and 3 days after. Letting go of the need of control. How things will turn out. Guess what? You have no control of that. But what you do have control of is the way that you're able to really show up in the best way you can today. No comparing from yesterday or tomorrow, but just simply saying, how can I show up in the best way to trust with the universe today? Perfect mantra for you. I don't even remember it because I channeled it. Hope you wrote it down. But how can you really let go of control? How can you let go of this need to know? Because the need to know is because you feel like you don't know. Let that sit. The more that you know, the more you don't know. I can tell you this right now, being my little inner child, feeling behind in school, feeling like I needed to know everything and I didn't learn quickly with math and science, and I thought I was dumb and stupid because that was repeated to me at home in various ways and various manipulative ways. And as I stepped into my healing with the moon cycles, and this might resonate with you in various ways, whether it's at work or at home or at school, we're really bringing this compassion to ourselves of understanding that we have no control of that, right? But when there is control from external people that become us, that we think is us, or internally, we don't get these internal beliefs nowhere. We get them from our environments, from our parents, from our family, from our lineage. And during this full moon of Aries is asking us to let go of the control. Because the control comes from fear. And fear is really, comes from lies or a gift that we haven't explored. So which one is it? Right? So we're letting that go in the fire here, this feeling that we don't want to see the truth. And that's what we fear. This feeling that we are scared of what if it is the best outcome, if I were to trust the universe, if I were not to self-sabotage. There's a duality of two, and we're playing on both sides. So this Aries full moon is telling us, let go of control, but what you can do is show up as you can. Be in flow. Know the difference between control and following the universe and ways it's speaking to you so you can live a more easeful, free life, right? When you start to do that, you wonder, why is it so easy? Because you're actually flowing with it. You're not resisting it. You're listening, you're tuning in, right? You're connecting with your inner spirit and your inner knowing, which is the most powerful thing. And then with that, our human brings the logic to support us with that knowing. Knowing comes first, action comes after. The next thing you need to know about this Aries full moon is there is no race to the marathon. I talk about this a lot, but learning that when we look at a fire, a bonfire, it doesn't just automatically go into a big bonfire. It takes its time. And then there are other times where you make a bonfire and it lits like 2 seconds. But what you learn about the grandfather fire spirit is it will light its fire, its spirit when it's ready, right? And we're all on this marathon together. We all are birthed and we all have at some point transitioned to the next life, if that's something you resonate with, right? At some point we come to the beginning and the eternal beginning again, right? And what that means is this Aries full moon is teaching us that we are not racing. And if there is a point of you that is feeling this pressure of yourself, ask yourself, where is that coming from? Where are these voices coming from? Who does it sound like that is coming through? Is it myself? Is it someone else? Is it a family member, an adult? Like what times, like where are these coming from? Right? And to understand that some of us are going to take a water break on this marathon. Some of us are going to run really quickly. Some of us are going to sit on the sideline for a bit and then continue. And some of us are going to just take our time and not even worry. Some of us are going to rush. There's going to be different periods during this marathon, right? But we're all on the same journey, right? Our run is going to be completely different, but guess what? Our destinations go to the divine of the same thing. Right? So this full moon is to teach us that and to go at our own inner pace. Okay. And that also means letting go of anything that makes us rush something that we have no control of. Rush something that is in this divine creation. You cleared all the things in the equinox. We did that in the eclipse. Now we got to integrate. Integration is your human and your spirit coming together and catching up. Right? And we can't do that if we're just constantly one thing after the other. We got to take our time. We got to take it bit by bit and be patient with ourselves. I will be patient to myself. I will love myself. So write that down if this is resonating to you. The last thing you need to know about this Aries full moon that's happening October 17, 2024, 3 days before the day of and 3 days after, before we get into the next part of the plants, is burning all your ships analogy. I want to share this with you guys because it's fire energy with Aries. And if you're a fire sign, you're probably feeling it even more, depending on where your placements are. And this is something that came to me as I was like channeling this, and it brought me to this story. And I find storytelling is a great way to receive lessons and to understand. And you know, it brings me back to my mom saying that she remembers her great-great-grandmother getting all the grandkids around the bonfire and telling stories about her ancestors and how they lived. And because of that, she fell in love with really making sure we knew where we came from. And I'm so grateful for that. So we learned that from storytelling around the fire, like our ancestors. And I just want to take you into the warmth of a fire here and for us to connect. And I remember years ago, about 8 years ago, when I was in a space working in PR and social media and kind of dabbling into readings and such, and finding my own spiritual awakening happening without me even being fully aware of. And what came up is when I was in the kitchen and I was so stressed, and I was in this, basically this double-edged sword, this duality. I had to make a decision. And Spirit was making it so uncomfortable for me that I had to make a decision so I can get up and keep running that marathon. So as I sat at the table, and it was around 6 o'clock in the evening with my partner, and we're sitting there and we're eating, and he basically says, you know, what's going on? And I share with him, and they were like, no, tell me what's on your heart. So then I said, you know, I'm really torn because I love what I do and I'm feeling like I'm pulled into this new direction. But then here I am here, and what's coming up is I'm not going to make money out of it. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to be supported. Like, who am I? Like all these things. If you're resonating with this, please breaking through the thorns, and also put a little like heart emoji, purple heart emoji. So then he looks at me deep in my eyes with watering tears, and he says, burn all your ships. And I'm like, what? He's like, it doesn't make sense being on a ship that you know is old and like it has leaks in it, it's gonna sink, and you're doing everything to get, you're attached to this old ship and how it's brought you. And it's like your career, you're attached to your career, you're attached to 10 years, your PhD, whatever it is. And it's like, all these things really don't matter, right? And it's now that we're realizing that, because how many of us go to school and we actually go into the direction we're in, unless we're going as a doctor. And even that, you know, I have a lot of people and even clients that are doctors, and they're shifting where they're going, right? So it's like we have this order of trusting that is beyond, and our spirit knows where it's meant to be regardless. And I sat there and I said, so you want me to leave this position? He's like, well, it makes sense. Like, you're going towards this direction, and it's either you're going to burn yourself out and not have the energy for something you love that you know you're going towards, or you're going to get stuck to this position and, you know, it's not making you happy. So I started to understand through this process of like, I needed to burn my ships. I needed to trust the universe. I needed to stop self-sabotaging myself when I knew that this was the direction I needed to go. I didn't know I had a plan. I didn't have any plan, right? But it was almost like as soon as I accepted that and I burnt that ship and I started to create a new ship, I started to realize, wow, I should have done this earlier. No, you didn't need to do it earlier. You did it at the right time, but you are doing it. And things are just flowing. Doors started opening. I started shifting. And here I am right now talking to you, being a medicine woman and supporting you guys, and also getting to chat and meeting so many amazing souls around the world doing their healing and bringing community. So I want to share this story because it's just saying, burn your ships. If there's something in your life right now that you are attached to, well, guess what? You have till November 20th this year, and you're at the midpoint of purging. So anything that is just not serving your highest temple is going to be purged out. Okay. It's either going to purge out in the hard way, where it's going to be rough, your tower moment, or you're just going to let go, right? And you're going to take action. This is the part that a lot of people online don't talk about, right? Once you've trusted, take action to that trust in your human with the flow of your own inner rhythms, right? Don't just like pray to your guides and your guardians and the orishas. You got to have them and walk the path, be the ceremony, take the action for it, aligning with your inner rhythms. And that will allow you to do that. You don't just sit there and pray on the all the, you know, wood and stuff to make your ship and just say, okay guys, I'm here and I want the ship to be built, and and you got the anchor, you're all just staying there and you're just praying by the waters, and it's like, okay, you do that, but then we gotta start hammering and making the ship, right? We gotta start showing up with the spirit providing you with the instruments to do so, you know? Before you know it, you're like, wow, I didn't know I can build that ship so quickly, you did it. You showed up. 90% of that is trusting. You know, the most successful people I've noticed, because that's something I also love to listen to. I go through a word of like, what do you call it? A rabbit hole of going through and listening to so many people's videos. And I one of the things I always say is like trust. One of the most successful people, they always say like, have a belief, trust in God, universe. Like there needs to be some kind of like devotion that you have that holds you through the layers of life, right? So, and all of us believe in something. Maybe science, maybe other things, right? And that is our journey and our path to learn and explore. So how are we feeling? Let's do a little check-in in the comments. What's coming up for you? What is riverling in your body as you go through this Aries full moon? What is the fire you're feeling? I can feel the heat in my body channeling this with you. Okay, let's get into the plants. What are the plants to work with this beautiful full moon in Aries? If you are interested in going deeper with plants, I highly suggest you applying to the plant medicine retreats. We have some beautiful ones coming up. You can go and do that in the form down below and apply, and my team or myself will respond to you. Also, if you're interested in working one-on-one with me, and go check out Breaking Through the Thorns. Just gonna say that. Okay, so plants, Aries, full moon, what's going on? There's two plants that came up, and I love these plants. One of them I actually have, I should have brought it to the video, is one of my favorite, and it's called St. John's wort. This is a beautiful plant. It helps so many elements. I'm going to go over how it's going to support you for this full moon in Aries. The first thing about this plant medicine is it's amazing for clearing and warding off negative energies. So warding off self-sabotaging, warding off, you know, the feeling, and I don't want to say negative, but lower frequency energies that just don't serve you for your next level, right? We say thank you and we pass it over. We transmute it. It also helps and supports if you feel as you're elevating that, you know, maybe there is a sense of other people around you that there's some jealousy, or maybe, you know, some negative energy around that, or they're projecting at you. Well, guess what? St. John's wort is amazing to work with that. It helps with active spiritual activity. So it helps with, if you're feeling a lot of spirit activity during this time and it's overwhelming for you, well, St. John's wort will support you with that. It helps with your inner confidence, which is really big, so you can step into trusting your process. Identity of self. It also is a great ally to discover who your true self is, self-confidence booster. And also, as far as physical support, it's amazing for those of you in menopause or hormonal imbalance, which, guess what? Majority of women and all beings, not just women, most of the world, actually are impacted by hormonal imbalance or imbalance in the body. So this is really supportive to help that. It's a great plant to share with you what's going on in your body. Anxiety, ADHD. It's also great for helps with depression, seasonal changes such as seasonal depression and anxiety within yourself as we're in the fall and we're moving into the colder months. And for some of us in the spring and the other areas of the world, we're moving out of the fall and now we're just adjusting to the warmth. Balances of the serotonin and the melatonin in the brain. Helps with the neurotransmitters in the brain to support you as your third eye is opening and your spiritual awakening is expanding more to rise within the phoenix within you. And it really supports you with the pineal gland as well. So if you are interested in the third eye and opening that up, and that is something that is a theme during this Aries full moon, go check out how to open your third eye video that I posted. It's amazing. It's supported a lot of you, which is great. And I walk you through step by step how to do that through a meditation. The second and the last plant that I'm going to suggest is called ashwagandha. This is actually one of, interesting fact, a plant that I worked with, not knowing so many of the benefits, and it makes so much sense why I gravitated to it naturally years ago. And it helps reduce stress and anxiety as you move into the trusting process of your journey after going through a deep purge and continuing this purge up until, you know, November 20th, which is when the energies are going to start to settle after that. The support during the spiritual awakening. It also opens the third eye and trusts what you need to trust and clears the root chakra, which a lot of people don't know. So this is a great one for if you feel lack of safety, you're in your fight or flight, you're in scarcity mode, basic necessities such as house, home, feeling like you're nourished, you know, feeling like you're safe. I am safe. Like that word is hard to really feel that and resonate with that in this time in your seasons, and you're constantly wanting safetyness in this process. Well, ashwagandha is really great to support your physical body as your spirit body is getting these upgrades. So let me know which plant you feel resonant with. Of course, I'm not a doctor, but what I would suggest is some of these plants are a little bit deeper. So St. John's wort is the one that I would suggest. Just being mindful if you are on any medications and stuff, to talk to your physician about that. And also for anyone that has any kidney issues, I wouldn't suggest it. So again, not a doctor, but I will share that as a medicine woman, as a herbalist, working in that space and studying. I will share that with you. Okay. Full moon ritual. What to do for this Aries full moon? What is the ritual that I can do 3 days before the day of and 3 days after? If you've made it this far into the video, put a little full moon emoji down below. I'm grateful for you. Gratitude to you. Make sure you like this video too. It helps a lot. So write down, number one, write down what you feel is the self-sabotaging tendency coming up for you. Be mindful of where that comes up 3 days before the day of and 3 days after. When you've done that, you're then going to breathe in, meditating with yourself in silence in the space when you're doing this ritual, where you can feel you're not trusting. And you can sense this by going into the body, doing a body scan, tuning into what organs are speaking to you, where you intuitively gravitate to. You can do this with your eyes open or closed, and just being in the silent space. And if you want as well, is just allowing yourself to breathe and connect in this space and trusting the process, okay? As you do so, tuning into, what do I not trust in this part of my body? What do I not trust in my spirit? And it will come up in your subconscious. Trust what's coming up. Don't question it. Just allow the body to speak to you. Our body whispers before it screams, and it's a beautiful beautiful space, a beautiful map to teach us all the things of our spirit. And the third thing to do as well is to create a fire ceremony where you can either sing or prayer. And if you can't do a bonfire, you can also light a candle, and just offering this on the day of the full moon, 3 days before the day after as well, 3 days after. And this will really allow you to clear and cleanse and to connect with what you're not trusting. You can even do some eye gazing with the fire and tuning into where in that body that you're not trusting, where in your body you're not self-sabotaging, and seeing if the fire can really transmuting it, and imagining the fire just bringing it to the flame so it can dissolve and be let go. When you're done, you're going to take that piece of paper safely in a safe space. Make sure you do this in a safe space and environment, to burn the piece of paper and let it go, giving it to the earth. And when you can do this, just making sure, again, you're being mindful, but burning it into the ashes, letting it cool, and you can give it to the earth. So this is a beautiful ceremony, and I love doing this, and I love to pray. I like to put songs into it. I like to just really make it intuitive, maybe making some, working with my St. John's wort tincture or tea, and then having that as part of my ceremony, opening the space with a fire or a candle, and then when I close space, blowing it out, you know, bringing that in and to personalize it the way that you want. But doing this can be super powerful on this Aries full moon. I'm going to pull a card before we close. Let me know how you're feeling, what's coming up for you in this full moon in Aries reading. I just had a glitch there. Okay, so this card, so good. Patience. I don't know if you can see this. Patience. I accept that everything happens in divine order. Take this with you. I think I'm going to leave it with this one card. Patience. You patience. Oh, and there's one other card on the top. I'm going to pull it because it's there. I'll leave it with 2 cards. I'm gonna leave it there. Acceptance. I am learning to accept the things I cannot change. I am learning to accept the things I cannot change. Sometimes we question why we can't change them. Acceptance is a big thing. You know, people focus so much on forgiveness. You need to accept in order for you to be open to forgive. And that's a whole journey on its own, right? So again, what parts of you are not accepting the trust, accepting who you are, accepting your journey, accepting that you're not behind, accepting your inner rhythms. And what part of you is being patient with this process, because you are going through so many deep upgrades. We all are collectively. And we're going to need community, we're going to need patience, and we're going to need support. community and support. And we're also going to just need flow. So let me know what resonated for you for this Aries full moon. Before you leave, I want to wrap it up with a couple things. Number one, make sure you do this ritual. Make sure you work with these plants. They will support you so much, you know, whenever that you feel called to start working with them. And the second thing I'm going to also share is Breaking Through the Thorns, a 3-day free workshop that is going to be happening starting on October 17th until the 19th. I would love to see you there. Women, sisters, grandmothers, beings, feminine, I call you into the space to help support healing our sacrals, our womb, and to know that you're not alone. If you're feeling lonely, if you feel like you've experienced trauma, if you feel like you're in the cycle and blocked and you don't know what to do, you feel like you don't have support in your family, in your life right now, and you're scared of being alone on the spiritual awakening. If you feel frustrated right now, if you feel the lack of freedom, come and break through the thorns, free yourself throughout these 3 days together. You're going to go through a whole transformation on this ceremonial workshop, and they're live on Zoom. So you can go down below to register, share it with as many women as you can. And for those of you who are live, get an extra surprise, which I will share only on the last day. And you have to be live as a little tip to be able to be receiving this amazing surprise. This has been a project I've been working on for like over 4 months. It's been woo, and I can't wait to share it with you. A lot of you have been emailing me, messaging me, and it's here, it's starting. It's just the beginning. And I also want to share with you plant medicine retreats. We have some beautiful plant medicine retreats going into 2025. Go check them out down below. Check out the website as well to stay tuned and stay connected. Add yourself to the email list. And I'm also offering limited spots for one-on-ones. You can email me or my team will support you. Okay. Like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Have a beautiful Aries full moon. And thank you for being you. Thank you for doing this work. And thank you for trusting the process. You're doing great. Okay, bye.